All right, guys, welcome to the Tejano Time podcast, and a good morning to each and every one of you out there that are tuned in right now, watching live. Share the video, please. Good morning to everybody out there. As that we are here once again, and a big shout out, okay, to everybody that's watching from all over. Whoever's watching throughout our social media platforms, we are again right here live with Mr. Omar Figueroa Sr. Okay, yes, they're right here on the Tejano Time podcast. I'm your host, Keith Leal, and it is a great Wednesday morning for me over here. We're about to hit lunchtime over here in Texas, and this the Omar is in Las Vegas, correct, Omar?
Yes, sir. I'm here in Las Vegas. Good morning.
Yes, and it's very early for him over there in Vegas, right? Not like over here in Texas, but that's that. We invited him onto the show today as to talk a little bit about a great thing that's happening with him. As to we're talking from Westlaco, Texas. Okay, as the Omar is was inducted into the was the RGV 2023 class of boxing. We're talking about the Hall of Fame here. Okay, as to on his accomplishments that he's had throughout as a boxing trainer as well. So congratulations to you first and foremost, Este Omar. Great accomplishment.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And we're looking forward to a ceremony that's going to be taking place on Friday, which we'll get to those details here shortly. So everybody that's tuned in right now will have some more information on that. But let's tell everybody. Let's get to know a little bit more about Omar Figueroa Senior. Tell me a little bit about yourself. How long you've been doing the training thing? I know it's been some time.
I'm from Tamaulipas, Rio Bravo, Mexico.
Okay.
Uh, I was a fighter since day one, and had to defend myself. And at an early age, we migrated to Raymondville, and
Okay.
man, it was hard. It was really hard because I had three older brothers, but they were way older and they didn't go to school. I would always hang out with my three sisters, so I was kind of like, I didn't know much about the world out there,
Right.
but I was a fighter. I mean, I saw Salvador Sanchez, Julio Cesar Chavez. Salvador Sanchez is one of my idols that I admire. Very respectful. I mean, the way he fought, the way he would handle himself in the ring,
Mm-hmm.
50 pounds with his mouth. He never opened his mouth, and that was something like, oh my God, look at this guy. So we started from there, and we migrated over here, and I was a migrant worker. Tomate, cebolla, cabbage. Always working, cutting yards since a young age. So um, I I just love the sport, and I said when I get married, and I want to have my first son, and I want to train him. I want to so he can defend himself, and sure enough, it started with Omar,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where it started, and then we moved back to Westlaco when I
Okay.
was a teenager, and that's where I've been living for I don't know the past 30 something years, and Westlaco has become my home, and my kids were all born there. I have four kids, three
Mm-hmm.
boys and a girl, and this ride has taken us like very very far, and making careers out of this sport, and very blessed in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been easy, it's been like a rocky road, and but enjoying every moment with my kids, and I I've been working for the government for the past 27 years
Mm-hmm. Okay.
uh, here in Westlaco, and they work with me, and I'm very appreciative of that. And I always shot for the stars, and I I think all the hard work and you know everything fell into place in a way. Signing my boys as promoters and getting the big fights, and this is where we stand.
Yes, definitely. I mean, and you're a proud father of two world champion boys. You know what I mean? I mean, how does that make you feel right now? I mean, you've done your job. If and it's not complete yet. You know what I mean? You're still working hard at it day in and day out with these guys and to get them trained to where they need to be and for fight ready. You know what I mean? So tell me a little about that. How does that make you feel to have two sons and world champs?
It feels amazing, but I always try to keep my feet on the ground.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Go
My
ahead.
kids, people tell me that they're different. Yeah, I can say this, I, w- I always, the new sphere here in Vegas, the,
No, no, well, yeah, the atmosphere there in Vegas.
the sphere, the big old
Okay.
sphere.
Yes, yes, yes. Uh-huh.
I say they got that from, they needed a ball base and they got it from my son's balls in a way. Honestly, honestly, I cannot believe seeing my boys, and not because they're my boys.
Hmm.
I remember Omar would tell me, Dad, you're gonna take me to that gym, throw me in with the best, or don't take me at all. Like, that's
Demanding,
I'm
yeah, that's
not ready for these guys. You throw me in there. Sure enough, man, I this kid was something else. I mean, um, any sport you put him in, he was. I spent a lot of time with him, and guiding him, and
mhm.
but he was something else. Why Golden Boy signed Omar? He beat up on Amir Khan. Unbelievable, but it was true.
Yes,
Huh?
yes.
When things are gonna set up for you, they'll
Mhm,
be. Amir Khan was like the star from that wildcard gym. I remember we got there in the morning and with no invite, but I had seen Freddie Roach in the valley.
mhm,
Walked down, and Freddie Roach is coming out of his car, and Omar was asleep, and I looked through the mirror and I saw him pull in his I think he had a Mercedes Benz. So I pull him out and we go and we met him before he goes into the gym. Hey Freddie, hey, we're from South Texas, me and my son, and you told me when you were in Texas that we could come to your gym. I just made it up.
mhm.
Okay. This is my son Omar, blah blah blah. So yes, we go in there. Oh my God, he had like from Africa, from Asia, from Mexico, kind of champions, and Amir Khan was the star fighter there.
Mhm.
And Omar, the first day, he got beat up by an amateur, and he told me, no, Eric Molina was there too with Anthony Cavazos, the promoter from the Valley. And Omar said, I want to spar him. I said, Mijo, no, look, he's beating up on experienced guys and heavier than you. And Freddie Rose said, no, he can't spar him. He's too small, too young, no experience. But Omar is terco.
Mhm.
And really, I think it was a Friday they let Omar spar with him. And no one would pay attention to us. And after that sparring, they came up to us, and Omar messed up his hands. Omar always had a problem with his hands. If not, I mean, he would have been some even bigger.
Mhm.
And after he sparred with Amir Khan, they out it was like 20, 30 people coming out. Hey, the kid from Texas, the kid from Texas. He earned the respect from everybody. And there was a guy from Golden Boy, and I guess he recorded it or he saw, and he, told Golden Boy. So sure enough, I remember they gave us tickets to see. I can't even remember Maidana and I can't remember who fought there. Ortiz,
Ortiz.
Victor Ortiz, I think.
Mhm.
Omar didn't want to go. Omar doesn't like to go to fights, so I took a little CD. Omar had like 3 pro fights, 4, and his videos from school, getting an academic scholarship to Texas A&M,
Mhm.
movie, local movie he was in. So yes, you know, then that sparring. So we fly back to the valley, and we get a call from Robert Diaz from Golden Boy, and he said, "Hey, someone wants to talk to you." Okay, and it was Oscar. Hey, Mr. Figueroa, blah blah blah. This is Golden Boy. I said, "No, it's not." And yes, and then I heard his voice. You can't.
Yeah.
So he said, "I'm interested, and I saw your son, and blah blah blah, and very impressed." So, and I would always mess around with my dream was always there. My mentality was going with the big guns, and I would play with my friends like, "Hey, Oscar, I don't have time. Oh, we're busy right now. Call me." And my son, yeah, shut up. So the time he called me, I was shaking, and I said, "What? It's Oscar." He didn't believe me. It's Oscar because I
Wow.
always would be messing around.
Mhm.
So yes, we get that call, and then we get a test fight in Houston.
Mhm.
One guy won the distance, I think, with one of Chavez's sons. Omar goes out there and knocks him out in the second round. I mean, he looks spectacular, and so sure enough, they fly us to LA and sign him, and from there on, we carried on.
Carried on. Wow,
Yeah,
wow. That's and that was the story with this, the Omar, and now Brandon. How did that come into play? Brandon was just
Brandon. Brandon, I can say he was a little wimpy, skinny. He looked like a little kid. Like even they would tell my ex-wife, "Did you marry a white guy?" Because he was so white with blue eyes, big eyelashes, and but he had black hair. And did you marry a gringo or something like that? He said, no, my husband. We're from the same neighborhood in Mexico.
Mhm.
No. So even when she crossed the border, they would tell her, uh, "Why is your son like?" He looked different.
Mhm.
Brandon. Brandon would always be around in boxing, and I would put him aside. I used kind of like reverse psychology with Brandon. You
Mhm.
know, because I had my issues with Omar not training hard and making excuses and this and that. So my focus was on Omar, and I saw Brandon too wimpy, too. I didn't see him with no future in boxing in any
Mhm.
sport. Brandon didn't have Omar. Oh, back to Omar. He almost got picked up by the scouts from the New York Mets in baseball.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay.
That month that Oscar signed him, we were gonna have some scouts from the Mets coming to the Valley. They were
Mhm.
gonna look at Omar and another kid from McAllen. And I told the Cuban, "Hey, no more. No, hermano, pero ¿cómo va a hacer esto, hermano? Tú dices oro molido, béisbol y boxeo." Le dije, "Hey, Alejandro, no more.
No more.
Ya, vamos con Oscar. We signed." So, and he was pissed off. Dijo, "Man, hermano, pero ¿cómo va a dejar esta oportunidad pasar?" Le dije, "Ni modo." Pero bueno, that's the way things, aligned.
Mhm.
Brandon, Brandon, I didn't see, honestly, I mean, I didn't want Brandon to be a fighter.
Mhm.
Man, Brandon had that killer instinct also. And
Yeah.
remember, I remember he was like 9 or 10, and he wouldn't train hard. Brandon was just, but he wanted to spar, and he would get beat up. I remember this time he was bleeding and in the ring and crying, and I told him, Brandon, yeah, salte, get out of the ring. No, I want more chingazos. Brandon, get out of the ring. But you know what? I threw him another opponent, and he would get beat up. And Mijo, yeah, step out. So from there on, I said, man, I can have something here. And
Mhm.
sure enough, at 14 years old, Brandon was knocking out bigger opponents to the body. And I said,
Wow.
oh, I
Okay.
mean, can it be possible? I mean, when Omar became a world champion, can it be possible that I can have another world champion? I mean, that
Yeah.
in the world of boxing, that would be like super blessed.
Mhm.
And one thing I always, God has always been by our side, honestly. I mean, maybe lucky, maybe the hard work, maybe I don't know the way things lined up. So I remember we had some sparring in Mission. There was going to be some pro fights, and we had some outside the place.
Mhm.
They had and they kind of like promoted the fight, and we had amateur sparring. And that time, Brandon dropped the guy. He was the only one that dropped someone with a body shot. So we were just, hey
Wow.
man, that skinny boy can fight and blah blah blah. So I remember one of my friends had a pro fighter from Mexico. He was like 7 or 8 fights, 3 losses. But I know he had more. He was like 21,
Mhm.
Brandon like 15. The guy weighed like 132. Brandon was like 124. And he had told me he wanted to go spar, and I said okay, but he took too long, so the other fighters left, so I only had Brandon there.
Mhm.
I don't have no one. I mean, just Brandon. But oh no, no,
Right.
no, that Brandon was like 14, 15. He looked like 11. He said, you know what, he's pretty good, but I'll throw him in there one round, see how it goes. Well, guess what, Brandon stopped him in the second round.
Wow.
I could not
Nice.
believe that. No, he goes, pincho Omar, I think you have another world champion there. And I said, yeah. So
Yes.
that's the way. I don't know. I mean, it's unbelievable. I feel
Mhm.
the pride that I feel. You don't imagine the pride as like a father, because I managed them and I trained them, I guided them, and I had a full time job. So I had to manage things. Just at night I wouldn't even sleep. I would be, like thinking, how do I do? How do I move about? Do I go to Golden Boy? Do I go to Al Heyman? And Golden Boy refused Brandon like 2 times, 3 times because
Mhm.
they Fisher and Brandon. They had
Mhm.
Diego and they had like 6 other fighters at Brandon's weight. and
Right.
look at how things build up.
Blossomed and yeah, definitely. Wow.
How I was when Omar fought Michelangelo Perez. We were with Golden Boy. Omar was supposed to lose that fight. If you see that fight, you're gonna say, "Wow, Omar did not train properly for that fight. He had trouble making weight. He made weight at the end, like, and we had to like carry him and feed him in the mouth. And then fight day, he looked spectacular. He stops Michelangelo Perez, who was a favorite.
Hmm.
Boy had him like the next superstar from Puerto Rico. He was from Newark, New Jersey, but he was a Puerto Rican, and he was damn good. Fighter of the year in Telefutura, national champion. Oh my God, this kid was really good, but Omar wanted big challenges. So we challenged him. We told Robert Diaz, "Hey, are you sure? Like, are you sure you know what you're getting into?" He said, "Yeah, my son says he can beat him." And I had that confidence in Omar because the sparring he did with Edwin Valero, 28-0, 28 knockouts.
Wow.
I would have had some footage of that sparring.
Hmm.
You can ask Yuka Morales. He's a great big trainer from LA. He's from Mexico, but he couldn't believe how Omar handled Edwin Valero. Not even Oscar or Eric Morales handled his sparring because I think they threw him out from training camps. Edwin Valero, he it wasn't like Robert told me. It's not sparring. It's a war. And sure enough,
Yeah.
in Monterrey, Omar was sparring him for 2 weeks, and Omar earned. He had like 12 entourage from Venezuela,
Hmm.
and earned the respect from everyone. Valero told me, "Este hijo de puta, está duro, va a ser, va a ser campeón." Nadie, and his trainer in Spanish, he told me, "No one has put hands on Valero like this kid." When we got to the gym in Monterrey, the owner of the gym, he said, "And this kid, we don't have no kids here." Omar was like 21. He looked like 16, 14. He goes, "We don't have no kids here. Who's getting on Sparty? He's going to go against him." "No way. No mames," he goes.
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah." And once he started, oh my God, dijo, "Damn, this kid is good." So Valero would spar with two guys from Tijuana, one from Mexico City. So at the end, he would only spar with my son. And Omar had to spar him lefty since Valero was going to fight Antonio DeMarco.
Okay.
And Omar had to go lefty. And Omar is a right hander.
All right.
And But you know what? Valero came up after the fight. He said the sparring with your son was harder. It's hard, and I mean, I didn't show that I was hurt, but he did get me to the body.
Dang, wow, wow, outstanding. If you guys are just joining us right now, again, once again, it's the live here. Share the video as well. We're talking with Mr. Omar Figueroa Senior, boxing trainer. I mean, this guy is amazing as well. You know what I mean? We're talking about his up and coming with his two boys that he's got going on right now as the two world champs. From here on out, if you guys have any questions for Omar, feel free to drop them in the comments box, and we'll get them out. Especially as we got some people listening from Dallas Fort Worth. Shout out to Tejano Time, Mr. Buddy Salceda. Gracias, buddy. Thank you so much for tuning in as well. And if you guys got any questions for him, feel free to drop them in the box. He'd be more than happy to answer a few questions here for you guys while we're still live here. Omar, what are your plans for the future from here on out? I mean, you're going to continue to do what you do, I believe, right now. I mean, like you said, you're still currently living in Westaco. You've been there for 30 plus years. You're going to take it on full time. You said you were working with the government.
Yes, I've been there like 27, 28 years, and yeah, I mean, I love to get kids out of the street and guide them the
Mhm.
right way, get them off drugs, get them off, doing getting into a sport, and I think honestly, Omar opened the doors for the all the kids in the valley from the RGB. We have a lot of amateurs and they're damn good. I mean, they're doing great, and we have some pro fighters that they know that they can make it out there. It's possible. It's I this is the way I thought. How come always champions from Japan, from New York, from Mexico City, LA, Houston, all over the place? Why not from the valley? Why
Mhm.
not
Exactly.
why not from my colonia? Why not from my house? And that was my mentality. I mean, and I told Omar, we're gonna go big, we're gonna shoot for the stars, and that's the way I my mental vision was, and blessed. and maybe luck in the way, whatever. But always, me behind them. That I think that's a big key as a parent or as a coach, because I was 24/7 with them. Hey, don't do that. Hey,
Mhm.
don't, you can't go out. Hey, you can't drink that. Hey, you can't eat that. And me, honestly, I don't like to lose. If I play
Mhm.
marbles, I want to try to kick your ass.
Yeah.
If we, I want to try to be the best. And that was that was me, because I don't know. Brandon kind of has Omar had it. He kind of like lost it in the way, and Brandon has that mentality. When he lost to Fulton, he was pissed off and saying okay, and I let him, let his anger out, and he doesn't like to lose. When we had the draw with Ceja came in 4.5 pounds, and I told Brandon, no, don't fight. That time we didn't go out for training camp. We did training camp at home. Big mistake.
Mhm.
I got confident myself. Since Brandon had like 6 knockouts in a row, I said, "No, hombre, mijo's gonna walk out through." That's a mistake from a father or a coach. That
Mhm.
there's levels.
Right.
Ceja was level. Mexican fighter. He had a good fight game inside, like Brandon. So you learn along the way, and you let your kids grow by themselves. We cannot. Oh my, no, no, no. Let them grow by itself. You cannot be doing things for them when fight time comes, they got to prove themselves there. And that's the way Omar and Brandon proved themselves, by beating the odds, by beating opponents they were supposed to lose with.
Mhm.
That's how their A side, with they earned it. And that's, you know, like me, I make that mistake. We train at home. Brandon was making excuses. He would get there late to the gym. After the fight, I let him have it. See, mijo, this is what happens. Yeah, my elbow. Yes, I know. But 4.5 pounds over, they did it on purpose. You know,
Mhm.
I did it on purpose. He's a professional. And we still took the fight. There was another, I think, Pantera, Luis Neri. He was going to fight there. He came in 1 pound over his opponent, Rodriguez. I think he was from Puerto Rico. He refused the fight. And I told Brandon, no, I mean, that's in this weight at 122, he came in at 126 and a half. And I told Brandon, no, let's not take the fight. No, I want to fight. You know how Brandon is, he's a warrior. I said,
Mhm.
oh, look, training that. And then I need money and this and that. And they didn't even want to lose the weight. They just, we took the fight. It was a draw. But you know what? That's how things line up. Brandon learned a lot from that fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take it as a learning experience. They wanted a rematch. And I said, F you with a rematch. You need to make weight first. This is a
Mhm.
dangerous sport. You need to be, man up and you know,
Yeah.
uh, discipline and everything. My
Mhm.
my Brandon sacrificed the last 4 days to make 122 because he's a big boy, and he sacrificed. And Brandon tell me, Daddy, if I would have gone at 126, I would have knocked him out. Yeah, you would have, but I mean, we did our thing,
Mhm.
make weight and everything. But
Exactly.
yes, this is a crazy ride. This is the pride I feel, since I wasn't a pro fighter or I did 2 amateur fights back in Rio Bravo and Vallehermoso, but just by watching fights and me being sober, not doing drugs, not drinking, and I was, my passion was building up a fighter that,
Mhm.
from zero, make him a world champion. And my belief was maybe just Omar, but like I said, now here comes Brandon, and he proved me wrong. He proved everybody wrong. He didn't really prove me wrong, but I kind of like was using like, and Brandon, I'll sit down, you're not gonna make it. Brandon, I would use it like, you know, so he would train harder, harder. His discipline, Brandon's discipline in training camp, unbelievable. The way he makes weight. I mean, he's huge, and he makes weight.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been hard at 122, so now 126. But it's like I say, like I tell Brandon, you think 4 pounds is 20 pounds, bro? No, it's only 4 pounds. You gotta keep it low.
Mhm.
Why? If you're so smart and you gotta make weight again in this year, why go up and weight so much, mijo? I mean, you gotta all these years that you're in the boxing,
Yeah.
you gotta handle yourself. You gotta always stay in shape. Because Brandon wants to be a legend. He wants to be the face of boxing. And I tell him, there's things you're not doing correctly. To be like that, Bernard Hopkins, that he was always, doing things right, eating right, working out, not going out. if you mature early in your boxing career, you're gonna be great. You're gonna be good, but you gotta mature right now. It'll be too late in 4 years, 5 years. It's too late. Boxing, it's a little gap. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can't. I mean,
Yeah,
can't.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So how do you stay Omar, how do you picture, we were just talking about this earlier, I believe, before the interview here started. How do you picture Brandon in the ring versus the fans and the women and stuff like that that you've come across and I had mentioned to you about when Brandon's in the ring? How do you picture him? Versus what you've actually told him. Brandon looks like doesn't look like that in the ring. He looks weak. You know what I mean? But he's very, very, you know.
You know what? I guess we used it as an advantage because we had a fighter, Moises Flores, El Chucky from Guadalajara, and the weighing, they were face to face. He was a little taller than Brandon.
Mhm.
The Brandon smiles, and he comes back, put on his pants and everything. I go, what did he say, Brandon? He says, "Estás bien chulo, güey." Chucky told him, "Estás bien chulo, güey." Then Brandon goes out there in the fight, and they were like, this team was so confident they were gonna beat up on Brandon, knock him out. Like they were smiling, and I would say, man, you guys don't know this kid. I know my son, but man, well, I mean, he only had one loss, like 20 wins, only one loss, and they were so damn confident. And Brandon knocked him out at the third round,
Mhm. Damn.
and knocked him out. And I guess they said, man, it's like Luis Neri. Luis Neri said, well, his fans, this kid is a bluff. He's a Oscar de la Hoya's boyfriend. That's why he's not a fighter. He doesn't look a fighter. El cara bonita, el Ken. They were saying that he was Ken, and Kennedy was Obama with
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah.
something like that. But then I heard that comment like, he's a Oscar de la Hoya's boyfriend. He's too cute to be fighting, and boom, Brandon goes out there and knocks him out.
Knocks his ass out, huh? Wonderful, wonderful. Like I said, yeah. I mean, you picture him different. You know what I mean? From being in the ring, and then from being aside. Your son. You know what he's capable of. You trained. We got a couple of comments here. Saludos para Tony El Flaco Hernandez, from Brownsville, Texas, and he's got a question here for you. Tony Flaco, where did the nickname Heartbreaker come from?
Okay, Brandon was like 6 years old, and Omar would be fighting amateur in Rio Bravo
Mhm.
and el Gimnasio Las Liebres. And there was a section of little girls like, Brandon's age and older. And Brandon would get there. Brandon was so like, he didn't give a crap. He would walk in with the little backpack and his hair, and he looked like a little, gringo. And the girl would say, llegó el rompecorazones. And I heard him. I heard, what? El rompecorazones, the heartbreaker. So it stuck to him. I told him, Brandon, they're calling you rompecorazones. And he would get there and he would just say, like, hey. So that's how he got it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wow.
the heartbreaker.
Nice. There you go. There you have it right there, Tony.
uh, Wonder Boy or something like that.
Mhm.
And some people say he's the Mexican Elvis Presley, whatever. But yeah, Heartbreaker stuck with him. And I remember Pat Benatar, he has that song, Heartbreaker, Dream
Yeah.
Taker. So
Mhm.
we did the song.
Yeah.
So
Nice. Great.
it's unbelievable the memories that I have,
Hmm.
Omar and Brandon. And man, it honestly, I mean, I can't believe this. It's tough. It's
So,
tough. I had a Nacho Beristain. He sent me a message when Omar became a world champion because he beat one of his fighters also on the way. And he said, "Señor Figueroa, Mr. Figueroa, it is a hard trick to come up to raise a fighter since day one and make him a world champion."
mhm.
And so I told him thank you, and I told, hey, look at Nacho Beristain. He's giving me compliment about it, because Nacho Beristain is a big Hall of Famer. So when Brandon wins the world title, he messaged me again and he said, like I said, Mr. Figueroa, to get a world champion, you raise him from day one, guide him. It's a trick, very hard. But to have two, my
Yeah.
respect to you, honestly, he told me that. I will
Yeah.
never forget. Even
Wow.
Joel Diaz was in the corner when Brandon beat Neri. And when Brandon knocked out Neri, Brandon was crying. I saw him and he looked like, Dad, look what we done. And Joel Diaz comes up to me and he goes, pinche viejillo, pinche boxeo que les enseñaste por aunque te la madre. You know, your boxing has no like the awkward, punches
Mhm.
from angles, lefty, righty. And he goes, but it fucking worked. It worked.
Exactly. It
What
worked.
you them worked. Two world champions. And he hugged me. He said, I can't believe it. Because I consider Joel family. Because when I had trouble with Omar, he wasn't listening. I sent him with Joel. And I remember Joel saying to Robert Diaz, I got 3, 4 kids that'll beat up on that kid. Pinche estilo por ancate la madre. No, he doesn't have no boxing IQ, no nothing. Omar goes out there and he beats up on his 3 fighters.
Uh-huh.
And he said, pinche madre, what the? Digo, it works. His style, awkward style that they have, but it works. So
Wow. Outstanding, man. I mean, props to you for, like I said, you raised two fighters, two world champion fighters. I mean, it's a tough job. It's a dangerous sport as well. The sport of boxing. It's my hats off to you, Mr. Omar. We want to congratulate you again. That's that, for those of you that are just joining us that have tuned in and tuned out throughout the entire broadcast, as the Omar's on the show today because we had some special news, some breaking news that we had that was announced a couple of days ago. He is actually is going to be inducted on Friday. As to be honest with you, I got some details here. The second annual RGV Boxing Hall of Fame ceremony to be taking place as they over in Harlingen at the Convention Center. Okay, this happens Friday, 5 p.m. Now, as the special guest, 4-time world champion Evander, the real deal Holyfield, is going to be on hand as well. So this is going to be a big event, And again, congratulations to you, Omar. Job well done. I know it's paid off. You've done your dues, and you're going to continue to do what you do from here on out. Go ahead. I know you got something to say.
especially Steph and you guys for
Mhm.
putting in time and going through all this and trying to get a hold of me, and I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And there's no other father out there that has more pride in what he's done because I know what it takes.
Mhm.
Um, it's been hard.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. I mean, it's like you said, with two of them, not just one, two. It was tough from the very go around. I guess from Omar, and then now Brandon. You know what I mean? Trying to the way. I mean, it's a challenge. You know what I mean? And you've
Still a challenge, but there's help from up there. Honestly,
mhm.
uh, that help was there, and I guess everything lined up, and we took advantage of it in a way. But it's a beautiful ride, and my kids aren't the perfect fighters. They're not the perfect sons. I'm not the perfect father or trainer, but I
Mhm.
guess when you came down to make the correct decisions and do the right thing, everything fell into place, and
Yeah.
here we are, two world champions from the Valley, from Westlaco, from the Fighting Figueroas. Very proud.
Very
Yeah.
proud. And you should be definitely. We appreciate your time today, Esther Omar. We'll invite you back anytime throughout the future. Esther, Steph is always reaching out to us on behalf of her and her team as well to make things happen. I mean, you guys need to be recognized for what you've done.
The main point here is, to me, and I guess to Brandon. Brandon,
Hmm.
I gotta say, this Brandon is a champion inside the ring and outside the ring. You don't believe this kid? We go to elementary schools, and he tells me, "Dad, take the gloves and the mitts." Le digo, "Mijo, what for? I want to give. Can we give him a little?" And I said, "What? How can a champion be thinking that? You know,
Hmm.
he buys shoes for all the kids that are in the gym. We have a posada. I have a video of the
Hmm.
posada. Man, he goes all out. I said, "Mijo, we need to get some sponsors. I mean, you gotta take care of your." He said, "I don't care that." And he brings on a group. He brings a DJ, toys, bikes. 4 people cut hair in Westlaco at the city hall. Unbelievable. He always has time for a picture. He, I remember we went to this school, and everybody wanted career day. They all wanted to be like doctors, astronauts, and whatever. We
Hmm.
did a show, and all the little girls and boys, no, teacher, I want to be a fighter. They want to be fighters after they saw Brandon and said, how can he fight? And people say this guy should be doing novelas or in a movie or doing commercials, something.
Hmm.
But there's an interview on Un Nuevo Dia, and Brandon says, "No, a mí me gustaron los trancazos," you know.
Yeah,
And yeah, I mean, it's this kid is, once their opponents look into his eyes and they think, "Mambre, this kid," but he's he
it
trips.
just
I don't know.
yeah, he flips the coin right there. I mean, he flips on him. He's a beast when he's up in
They
that
hit him,
ring.
he hit him his mouth and comes straight at them. And I go, Brandon, just don't take that hit. No, I want to. Or okay, mijo, but now you got to be smarter. You're getting older. You got to be a smarter fighter in there. But
Hmm.
he to rumble.
Yeah. And Tony says here his community service is outstanding. Just most definitely. Yes, always giving back. You know what I mean? And that's something.
He's a champion all around, and that's what makes Brandon special. He's very respectful, and he wants to help everyone. He wants to have a little time, 3, 4, 5 seconds, take a picture, and that over there, that over here. And I tell him, Brandon, we gotta go. No, Brandon, Dad, look, and he wants to give I put on the mitts. There was one time we did like 10 rounds. I was super tired because we had like 10, 12 classes coming in one after another one, and he
Mhm.
would, oh, that's it. Like, no, oh my God, this guy, man, better here than at the gym. I told him.
Yeah. Wow, that's outstanding. Well, let us know if he's going to be anything in any plan this year, Posada wise or anything like that he's going to be doing down the valley. Yes, they would love to come out and show our support as well.
Yes, sir. We gonna try to do it again. Last year was super cold. I got sick after. I got
Yeah.
super sick, but I was there. It was raining. It was super cold, but it was great. It was a turnout, and we had over 1,000 toys.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. Definitely. Wow. He's always, like I said, he's just always giving back, doing what he does, for the community there, for the youngsters there, and anybody who is, up and coming and is looking into boxing and whatnot. I mean, that's he was raised a certain way. You got to give him props for that. I mean, he did well, and then, like you said, giving back, buying shoes for all of the youngsters out there, some of the guys in the gym, some of the youngsters in the gym. I mean, that just puts a smile on their face. You know what I mean? So that's an
Yes.
outstanding kid right there. Yeah. Well, guys, if you guys have any more comments or anything like that, please drop them in the box right now. As they will be more than happy to answer them for you. We've got a few more minutes here with Omar. Again, you guys, if you're out there watching from around there and you're going to be in the area of Friday, in the Harlingen area down the valley, there's some tickets that are still pre-sale tickets available for the event. Okay, again, Evander Holyfield is going to be on hand, special guest, the real deal Holyfield. Okay, Harlingen Convention Center, 5 p.m. Friday, this Friday, August the 11th. You don't want to miss that. If you need some more details, I got that number for you. You can call 956-536-5287. All right. So it's the ceremony is going to be taking place there. It's the RGV Boxing Hall of Fame. And
You know,
Omar.
there's parents that want to get their kids involved in boxing. I mean, this is great. It's a great sport.
Mhm.
You gotta be careful in a way, but this is a great motivation to go take pictures with Evander Holyfield.
Mhm.
Brandon, son, he's gonna be there also.
Yeah.
We're gonna our belts, and we're gonna take pictures with other kids. I'm looking forward. We fly tomorrow in the morning uh, to be ready for Friday. I mean, I'm already looking out for Friday. It's great. No,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Being where you're at right now, all by yourself,
yes, it's a 5 bedroom house. It's a friend's house, and I'm here. You know, by myself. I mean, it's kind of like hard. I mean, over there at home, I have my parents, my mom, and my brothers, my sisters, and my friends. I have my
Mhm.
gym that I go to, but I try to keep busy here. I mean, I go work out, and then I see my kids at the gym when we go there, and then I see them on the strength and conditioning hour, also an hour and a half. So I see them twice a day, so it's good.
Awesome, awesome. Well, stay in the game, stay healthy, keep doing your thing, Mr. Omar, and a big congratulations to you as well on your accomplishments thus far, and I'm sure you got many more to come, and you got a great boy, two sons, great guys. Brandon, and the best of luck to him too in the future on his upcoming fights that he has. Stay tuned here. We'll definitely have some details on that when they develop, and also don't forget you can follow us on Tejano Time on YouTube, and you can also follow us on Facebook as well. Okay, it's the Tejano Time, all right, podcast. You don't want to miss that. Again, Omar, gracias. Thank you so much, man. We do appreciate you, and best of luck to you in the near future. And we will holler at you when we need you again back in the future, and we'll touch bases for you as we get near the holidays and all that other great stuff. All right. God
Yes,
bless
sir.
you. God
Get
bless
it.
you.
God bless you guys. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. That's it, right?